Alright, first we're going to start out with an S402 size 14 hook. I put a 2.4 millimeter bead already on there. Start to thread at the front and work way to the back. Using a size 2.5 or actually 2.4 millimeter bead because it's interchangeable with the size 14 and the size 16. So we're going to take that all the way down to the bend of the hook, and I've taken some of the small red wire and we're just going to capture that. Loosen my bobbin a little bit. Now here I'm going to be using some Arizona semi-seal in Peacock instead of the ice stub in Peacock. I think it looks a little bit better, but that's just me. You'll get a little more flashiness out of the ice stub. I just like the more natural look of the Arizona semi-seal, that's all. But again, personal preference. So after we dub that onto the thread, you can be as generous as you want. Just gonna wrap that, come back, and a little bit more here, just a touch. Go. All right. Now wrap back a little bit here. There's my whip finisher. I like to whip finish just once, so then I can wrap this copper wire, the red wire, just around it. So it doesn't have to be even. It's nice with the rotary vise. And all the way right behind the bead. Now we're gonna capture that. There's going to be a little tail end of that copper wire, so you want to bend that back and then lock it in place. Don't worry about the little strands if there's strands coming off. It still gives it that buggy look. So next I'm going to take a piece of that centipede legs. I like to use mini legs. I think they look really cool, especially on this fly. Now, when it comes in a pack, it comes in like this, if you can see it. Really long pieces like this. I take one of these strands from half, and then I cut that half strand in half again. Then on one side, if you can see it, I'll take that and actually wrap it. I'll split it in half on the thread. So it forms two legs. And I'll just capture that right behind the bead. Then I'll flip it over. Then I'll do the same thing to the other side. Kind of pull those back, lock them in place. Now, we're almost done. Just going to take a bit of this mallard flank. You can use partridge feather, but this is what I had on hand. Just see how I strip those fibers back. You don't want a long feather, because these fibers are going to be extending past the hook, especially on a size 16. So I stroked all that fluffy stuff, took all that fluffy stuff off, and then stroked those fibers back to give it a easier time for me to put it around the hook. Just tie that in at the point. And snip that off. And we're then gonna wind that around. If it'll cooperate. Just stroke those fibers back. It's kind of hard to see with my fingers in the way. Oh, come on now. There you go. And you're just going to tie that off. Snip that. All that's left to do is whip finish, and then you're done. Now, I will say this. The original recipe on the Hatch Magazine website suggests you take a bit of UV resin and put a drop or so, just very light, on the tip here, just behind the bead eye, to give it a more secure, keep all the fibers trapped so the thread doesn't come undone. But I've chosen not to. I think they fish just as well. So, and that is, as you can see, the chubby cousin. Now, again, you can take the tarantula, or the centipede legs, and then trim those if you want. I like them because they flow really nice in the water, but modify as you like.